Hi students, today we are going to discuss Kirchhoff rules for capacitors. Now, why do we study the Kirchhoff rules? Because the Kirchhoff rules are used to determine 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 it would be able to determine the potential difference across the capacitor, potential difference. So we would be able to determine the potential difference, and we would be able to calculate the charge on the plates, charge on the plates of the capacitors. Now the Kirchhoff Kirchhoff's rules. In a circuit with capacitors and cells, two important rules are followed. The Kirchhoff rules are: number one is junction rule, and number two is loop rule. The junction rule. The junction rule. Now, this junction rule is based on law of conservation of charge. Based on law of conservation of charge. Law of conservation of charge. Charge is neither created nor destroyed. So it is based on the law of conservation of charge. The statement of the junction rule is that in any isolated system, in any isolated system, the net charge is conserved. The net charge is conserved. In another way, you can say that the total net charge, or the total charge, or the net charge at the junction is equal to 0. The sum of all charges at the junction is equal to 0. In another way, you can say that the sum of charges into the junction is equal to the sum of charges out of the junction. Okay, now consider one capacitor over here. This capacitor is connected to another capacitor. This is another capacitor, and this is another capacitor. Okay, now we have three capacitors. Okay, now let us assume that charge Q is flowing through this charge Q. Now when charge Q flows, then the charge Q accumulates here, because it cannot pass through this. There is no connection here, right? So this positive will induce negative here. This positive will repel the positive here and attract the negative here. So that's why if this is positive, that induces negative, because this positive is pushing the positive charge and attracting the negative charge. Now here this Q, this is Q, let us take that junction A. Now here the charge splits into, say, Q1 and the other charge is Q2. Now if we see very carefully, this part is not touching the remaining part, right? Remaining part of the circuit. So this is not touching anywhere. There is no connection anywhere. So this we call it as an isolated system. This we call it as isolated system. This we call it as isolated system. So in this isolated system, at this junction, you see the sum of the currents which are flowing into the junction is equal to sum of the sum of the charges into the junction is equal to sum of the charges leaving the junction. So which is coming in is Q. So Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2. The charge coming in to the junction is equal to charge leaving the junction, or Q minus Q1 minus Q2 is equal to 0. What does it mean? Sigma Q is equal to 0. The net charges at the junction is equal to 0. So this is junction law or junction rule for the capacitor. The Kirchhoff second rule for capacitors is called as loop rule. The loop rule is based on law of conservation of energy. The loop rule is based on law of conservation of energy. The statement for the loop rule is, in a closed circuit, in a closed circuit, the algebraic sum of all voltages is equal to 0. The sum of all voltages is equal to 0. In a loop, the sum of all voltages is equal to 0. When we are applying loop rule in a circuit, then we have to follow some sign conventions. So here we will discuss about the sign conventions which we need to follow. The sign conventions are, say if you are going in this direction in a loop and there is a cell like this. Now this is positive terminal of the cell, so this is positive, this is negative, and we are going in this direction in a loop. Now positive is at higher potential, negative is at lower potential. So we are traveling from higher potential to lower potential. Higher to lower when you are traveling, then it is higher to lower when you are when we are going, then it is potential higher to lower. So potential drop is taken negative. Now we are traveling in this in a loop, we are going in this direction. this is negative terminal, this is positive terminal of the cell. Are going in this direction. This is lower potential and this is higher potential. Positive is a higher potential, negative is lower potential. So as we are traveling in this direction, we are going from lower potential to higher potential, lower to higher. So here the potential gain is positive. Potential gain is positive. Potential drop we have to take negative. Now just a quick revision of what we have learned. Just Kirchhoff rules for capacitors So this Kirchhoff rules is used to determine potential difference and the charge on the plates. We have two laws. One is, or two rules. One is Kirchhoff junction law or junction rule, and other one is loop rule. The junction rule is based on conservation of charge. This is based on conservation of charge, whereas this is based on conservation of energy. And the junction rule says that the sum of all charges at the junction is equal to 0, or the sum of charges coming into the junction is equal to sum of the charges leaving the junction. So the net charge at the junction is equal to 0. And loop rule, in a closed loop, the sum of all the potentials is equal to 0. The sum of all potentials is equal to 0. So in a closed circuit or closed loop, the sum of all the potentials is equal to 0. Right? This we have studied till now. Let's see how we apply Kirchhoff rules in the circuit analysis. Now we are going to discuss about the applications of the Kirchhoff rule for the capacitors. Now find the potential difference VA minus VB between the points A and B. So a circuit is given. In this circuit, this is C1, capacitor C1, C2, C3 and cells E1 and E2. Now they were connected like this in a circuit, and we need to find the potential difference between A and B. VA minus VB we need to calculate. Now let us first what we have to do is we have to write the distribution of charges. Let us assume that charge Q is flowing like this. Charge Q is flowing. Now when charge Q flows here, then positive charge gets accumulated here. When this positive charge gets accumulated, this positive charge on this plate will push the positive charge on this plate, will repel the positive charge on this plate and attract the negative charge, right? So this is negative. So this plate is positive, this plate becomes negative. So charge Q is flowing, so I'm writing Q. Now this is the negative terminal of the cell, so this is negative, and this is the positive terminal of the cell, so I'm writing positive. Now this is Q, right? The even if it is passing through the cell, the charge will remain same only. Now at this junction B, now let us call this as Q1. Okay, now at junction B, out of Q, Q1 is flowing in this direction. From Q, Q1 is leaving. So the remaining will be Q minus Q1. Out of Q, Q1 is leaving. So the remaining is Q minus Q1. Actually, you can apply the junction rule here at B. Okay. Now the junction rule at B, junction rule at B. See here, the sum of the charges going in is Q, going into the junction is Q, leaving the junction is equal to the sum of the charges entering into the junction is equal to sum of the charges leaving the junction. Leaving the junction are Q1 and Q minus Q1. Q1 and Q minus Q1. So Q minus Q1 minus Q plus Q1 is equal to 0. See, Q minus Q. Sigma Q is equal to 0. This is junction rule at B. I have applied junction rule at B. Out of Q, Q1 is leaving, then remaining is Q minus Q1. Right? Now, here, this is the negative terminal of the battery, so negative. This is positive terminal of the cell, so this is positive. So the charge will be Q minus Q1. Now here on this plate, this Q minus Q1 will accumulate on this plate, so this becomes positive and the charge is Q minus Q1. Now this positive plate will repel the positive charge on this plate and attract the negative, so this is negative. Right, now Q1 charge will accumulate here, so this is plus, and this positive plate will repel the positive charge here on this plate and attract the negative charges, so this is minus. Okay, now we have completed writing the potentials and the distribution of charges. We have completed denoting for the circuit. Now we will take this as loop. Okay, loop 1, let's name that loop as loop 1. Say this is loop 1 and this is loop 2. Okay, say this is closed loop. According to the loop law, in loop 1 I will apply loop law, that is sigma V is equal to 0. The sum of all potentials in a closed loop is equal to 0. Now I will start from here, again I will end up here, right? So this is negative to positive, negative to positive. This is lower potential, this is at higher potential, low to high, potential raise. So positive, potential raise is positive, right? So even potential drop is negative. Right, now here positive to negative, higher potential to lower potential, potential higher to lower, that means it dropped, potential got dropped, potential drop is negative, so minus. Now here potential we need to write, that is Q1 by C3, Q1 by C3. Now here this is positive potential, this is negative potential. So higher potential to lower potential, higher to lower is drop, drop is negative, so minus charge is Q, Q by C1 is equal to 0. Let us call this as equation 1. Now I will write the loop equation for the second loop. For the second loop also, sigma V is equal to 0. The sum of all potentials is equal to 0. Let's write the equation here. Now I'll start from here. This is negative, positive, lower potential to higher potential, potential raise is positive, so E2, and positive to negative, higher potential to lower potential, potential dropped, so negative, so my minus q minus q1, let me put this in bracket, by the capacitance is C2, so C2, and here negative to positive means raise, so plus q by C3 is equal to 0. Let us call this as equation 2. Equation 1 we got this, and equation 2 we got this. Now solving 1 and 2, solving equation 1 and 2, solving equation 1 and 2, solving equation 1 and 2, we get q1 is equal to minus C3 C2 E2 minus C1 E1 by C1 plus C2 plus C3. By solving, we calculated the charge Q1. Now once we got charge Q1, we can find out the potential difference VA minus VB. Now VA minus VB is equal to VA minus VB, so the potential difference across C3, that is charge is Q1, so Q1 is the charge by C3. Okay, now you can see here for A, this is negative, A is at negative potential and B is at positive potential. That means A is at lower potential and B is at higher potential, and we are writing VA minus VB. VB is greater, positive, VA is less, so you will get the potential as negative, so minus Q1 by C3. Now Q1 value, what we got here, we just substitute here. Now when I substitute here, then this minus and minus will become plus, C3 will get cancelled, so my answer is C2 E2 minus C1 E1 by C1 plus C2 plus C3. So that gives the potential difference between A and B. Now when we discussed about Kirchhoff law, we have discussed that the uses of Kirchhoff laws is, number 1, we can calculate the potential difference, number 2, we can calculate the charge across the capacitors. So here we can calculate the charge, we can calculate the potential difference between the 2 points, we can calculate across the potential difference across the capacitor, we can calculate. Earlier we solved the problem by using Kirchhoff laws for the capacitors. Now using the Kirchhoff rules for the capacitors, we can calculate the potential difference, but the simplification is quite difficult. So we are discussing method 2, which we call it as nodal analysis. The nodal analysis can be used as a shortcut method to calculate the answers. Earlier method, if you see, simplifying loop 1 and loop 2 equations, it will take quite some time. So we use the same problem by using nodal analysis. I will calculate the potential difference between the A and B. Now we'll redraw the circuit. The circuit is like this. Say this is C1. I've connected it to a battery or cell. Then here you have another cell that is connected to a battery or cell. Right, now this is A, this point is B. Now we have to calculate the potential difference between A and B, and we know that this is capacitance C1, this is C2, this is C3, this is E1, this is E2. This is the question. So we have to calculate the potential difference between A and B. So nodal analysis, as the name indicates, we use node. So here we use the node. To at node we will apply the junction rule, and we will calculate the potential difference between A and B. Now here what we do is, let us consider this potential at A as x, potential at B as 0. Okay, now this is E1, negative terminal of the battery, so minus E1, so this is minus E1. This is positive terminal of the battery, so this is E2, this is E2. Now let us take that charge flowing here is Q1, and the charge flowing here is Q2, and the charge flowing here is Q3. Now if you look at this very closely, then you can see this is an isolated system, because it is not touching the remaining part of the circuit. So this is an isolated system. What is this? This is an isolated system. Isolated system. In this isolated system, at junction A we apply junction rule. At junction A, the sum of all charges is equal to 0. Okay, now here the charges are going away from the junction, so Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 is equal to 0, or else the sum of all the charges is equal to 0. Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 is equal to 0. Now we know that Q is equal to CV. So what is C here? C1. So C1 into potential difference CV. V is potential difference. So the potential difference here is x minus of minus E1. So x plus E1. X plus E1 plus C2 into, this is x minus E2. X minus E2 plus Q3 is C3 into x minus 0. That is equal to 0. Okay, now expand this one. So by expanding we get, let's take from here x common, then we get C1 plus C2 plus C3, and remaining terms on the other side, that is equal to minus E2 C2 you will get here. So if I send that side, it will become positive. So E2 C2, this is C1 E1. When I send this side, it will become negative. So minus E1 C1. So x is equal to E2 C2 minus E1 C1 by C1 plus C2 plus C3. What is x? X is nothing but the potential difference between A and B. So VA minus VB, VA minus VB is x minus 0, that is equal to x, which is equal to E2 C2 minus E1 C1 by C1 plus C2 plus C3. We got this answer very easily. We'll get this answer very easily when you use nodal analysis. So nodal analysis is like a shortcut method which can be used while solving this kind of circuits. Whereas the Kirchhoff loop law and junction law, the method 1 which we used is like Brahmastra. It can be used for all sort of circuits. For nodal analysis, you need to be bit careful. Yeah. Please like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more videos. Send your questions in the comment section.